Okay, well, last year, December the 29th of last year, my child mother would have dropped off our son, a 2.5-year-old son, Matthias, at my house and told me she didn't want to see either of us again.
Right.
This would have resulted after we would have separated in
Right.
November of last year.
So you all never married or anything?
No, 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 never married. And after after I would have told her we had no chance of getting back together, that is when it really acted up. That resulted that to come and drop off the child and whatever. I had no problem with it. I took my son and I continued doing what I was always doing, take care of him.
How old is he?
He is two. He'll be 3 July the 21st of this year.
All right. Continue.
Yeah, and during this time I was still trying to involve him in her life. I wouldn't just shut him off. Efforts was made for him to spend time with her, and in some hours she'd be calling complaining, oh, she had to work, and she conditions where she working, she can't take care of him, to come for him. And I would have to eventually go for him, and that's whenever she ready she would call. And Sunday last, we would have made arrangements for him to go with her.
Right.
But I would have been working Saturday from 6 in the morning to Sunday morning 6, so
24
or
hours.
was on 48 hours off. And I would have reached home like minutes to about half 6, 20 to 7. And she didn't call to confirm anything. So I went to sleep. I was tired. My thoughts were hectic. And she would have called about half 7 to 9. And at that time I was sleeping. And she was aggrieved by this. And the next day she went to the station after not that too, and after seeing a picture of myself and a young lady on Facebook.
Right.
She'd have gone to the station and told the police I was refusing her from seeing him.
This one.
So they came by me the day before yesterday.
Which station is it?
Nice Conopia station.
Conopia police station.
Yeah. They'd have come by me, identify themselves, say where they were attached to, and they instructed me to hand over my son to her.
On what grounds? How they told it? They just came up and they say hand over the boy like that?
They say a report was made where I refused to hand over or to let his mom see him, which was not true. And I brought it to their attention. And before I complied to their instructions, I asked the officers in her presence if she would have made mention of threats that she would have made, several threats she would have made to kill herself and Matthias.
Okay, well, tell us about that. She said she made threats to kill herself and the child?
Prior to every time we would fall out or disagree, she would make threats to kill herself and kill Matthias. She also have a daughter. She also included the daughter and all in her threats.
How did you react to that? Did you take any action? Did you do anything?
Well, most of the times I would be in a position to respond, to go and to deal with it.
Right.
But like if I'm on work, I would have called the station and made a formal report, and the police would have responded.
Right. So the police did respond to this report.
Yes, they did.
And you can remember when was the last occasion that she did make a threat of such
The last occasion was November of last year.
November of last year.
Yes.
And you explained this to the police in her presence?
In her presence, and they asked her in front of me if it was true. She denied the several threats that she made, but she said she made threats to kill herself and him.
Right.
And I also brought to the attention of the police before that the circumstances which he'd have come by me. She'd have just dropped him off on the 29th of December last year and say, I don't want to see you, I don't want to see your son again.
Right. Do you have a court order in place for this child? You and the mother? Have you been before the court for this child?
No court matters.
So on what grounds and what authority would the police would have said that they had to remove the child from your care?
Well, according to the female officer, she said it's by law the woman gets the child. Because of the child age, the woman does get first hand of the child.
Like she said by law.
Yeah, by law. She did say by law.
Are you aware that that is not true?
Well, after the fact, I was advised accordingly.
I mean, so what form of action, if any, have you taken thus far, besides coming to Single Fathers Association?
Well, so far I had made a report to the Child Protection Unit, and my next step is applying for custody.
All right. But since this has happened, have you been in contact with your son? Have you been in contact with the mother of your child? What is the feedback? Are you getting any feedback whatsoever from them since they came and they took the child away from you? I think that was Monday this week, right?
Yes, Monday this week. Well, the only feedback I will get is one of harassment, I would say, because she would call and let my son talk on the phone, and she'd be laughing in the background. She would call, and even up to yesterday she called and told me that I have to make arrangements to find a babysitter for him and to fit the expenses because she can't go to work. And this would have been sooner, a day after she took the child.
So she took the child and she didn't have proper arrangements?
No, she had no arrangements.
Well, what we did do from the Single Fathers Association, when they contacted us, we contacted the Kunupia police station. And what the Kunupia police station was saying is that when they came, they have the right to remove the child. They're saying that they didn't tell you that legally the mother has more rights than you at the age or whatever. But did you have any witnesses there with you at the time? Did you have anyone present that could attest to what you're saying right now?
Yes, my sister was there.
So she was on the spot there as
yes,
well?
Yes. She overheard everything that transpired. Of course, and I also went to the station after and made a formal report of what transpired, and I would have let them know that if something was to happen to my child, given the information I would have given to the officers, who would answer to that? What then? What's my next step?
Right. And when I spoke to the officer, he told me that would be the parents' fault. I mean, well, to hear a response like that from the police officer, how do you feel to hear him say, if the mother does something to the child, that is the mother's fault, that it would be on the mother to blame alone?
If you see, the police could have taken a better stance given the information that they had received, and they would have been able to prevent anything, if God forbid, was to happen. Right. The decision that they made to take him and give him to her was not only unprofessional, but it was cruel, if I was to say. It was cruel and really one-sided. Well, my only concern as of now is not even the officers and my child mother. My concern is my son. I have never done and I will never do anything to make sure or to make sure that his well-being is not taken care of. I've done my best and I will continue to do my best. All I want right now is for whoever could assist in making sure my son is safe while the matter would be taken to court. I would appreciate that most likely.
What would you like to see him return to you at least?
Return to me until the court decides, yes.
All right. Thanks for coming, Mr. Clarence.
No problem.
We will call it.
Is it a rule in our country that fathers are always wrong? Help us, fathers.